I think it's also very important, I think Zanola touched on it a bit, is you have to understand the board's business model. Operating at an airport is different than operating at a strip mall. It's different than almost any kind of organization that you could possibly do business with as far as setting up a business. It's not necessarily that it's more difficult, it's just different. There's a different type of security environment. There's a different type of clientele. It's a very captive audience. But there are literally millions upon millions of dollars out there that air travelers and other people who do business at the airport, a market that you can reach out to. It's a great opportunity to capture this very unique market. So do understand the business model, business environment, and clientele. And a lot of that information is in the request for proposal. So again, make sure, review that information, as well as take the opportunity to look at the concessions website. Our concessions department has an excellent website to help give you some background information about the airport and its operations so that you understand the kind of business partner you're going to be working with if you're awarded a contract. I also think it's very important for a company to assess your business model and long-term objectives. After reviewing the business environment which you're going to work with, after reviewing some of the information that's offered on the concessions website, after reviewing the request for proposal, you may find yourself saying, this doesn't match my business model. And that's fine. But if it is something that matches your business model, we want to receive that proposal from you. It's also very important to assess the challenges and determine early what partnerships or subcontractors are required to position your company for success. Reading the proposal and understanding early in the process is very important. The fact that you're here and taking advantage of this outreach is a very good first step in order to understand what the challenges are out there. And if you may have a lot of strengths with your company, but also recognize that you may have some weaknesses that need to be addressed. Find the partnerships, find the subcontractors that strengthen your position and allow your proposal greater chances for success. As was pointed out earlier by Don O'Banion, now I put down here DMWBE, but I think it's called ABCDE firms. Too many acronyms in this proposal, but in my procurement department, we identified as DMWBEs, but in this particular case, it's AEBD. Thank you. Okay. Well, again, this is a great opportunity that once you review the areas of challenges within your proposal, look to these type of firms to help strengthen your proposal and give you a better position to get those 15 points that Don talked about earlier. Again, I can't emphasize that this is a great opportunity to involve those companies. And when we do have our break and you have an opportunity to do a meet and greet, take advantage of that opportunity to show what your company can do either as a prime or reaching out as a subcontractor or a partnership. Next thing I'm going to talk about kind of sounds a little simple, but you need to plan before you write. You need to outline, this is what the proposal is requiring, this is what my company has to offer, and this is what I need to respond to. This is the type of information I need to gather. Now, that might mean you need to gather information from your bank in order to provide information about your financial strength. That might mean you need to outreach to your insurance agent or insurance broker to make sure that you have the insurance requirements in place. And if you don't have those insurance requirements in place, to ask them, what do I need to do to get the appropriate insurance and how much is it going to cost me to do that? Those are just a couple of examples of the information that you would need to gather and the outside parties that you may need to gather them from in order to build a successful proposal. Once you've gathered some information, Cross-reference the information that you've received with the proposal requirements and objectives. If there's not a correlation, then the information is not relevant. And we are going to have page limits on these requests for proposal responses. So make sure that the information you provide is relevant to the questions and objectives that we've outlined in the request for proposal. I want you to also understand that public sector and private sector is a little bit different. When you're submitting a proposal to the private sector, there may be some different requirements. And frankly, I think in some cases it's more relationship oriented. In the public sector, we are very process oriented. And a process is set up and it's outlined in the request for proposal for the purposes of making sure that we have a fair and objective process and system of evaluating proposals and trying to get a short list of the best firms to interview. So again, you may know some people, you may know some people on the board, you may know some people who work for the airport, and that's good to know. But we're going to follow a process that we stated in the request for proposal and make sure that whatever information you're providing is compliant with what we are requesting in that document.